Alright, so this is my client here. She's here after 30 days. And this is our strokes. A lot of them healed really good, some of them faded, but mainly I would call this like 70% retention, which is not bad. The strokes look really good though. So I'm wiping the eyebrows down with alcohol right now and getting the area cleaned up. We're gonna be fixing up her shape a little bit. I definitely want to make this one a little bit darker. I feel like this one's a tiny bit darker. And overall they look pretty good. Okay, so here she is sitting up. So I just wanted you guys to see. They look pretty good. As you guys can see, this one definitely healed a little darker. And we think a little bit thicker as well. So I am going to add a little bit of a line underneath this one to make it the same like this one. But overall, they're actually pretty even. Okay, so we are going to start with this one. And I'm just going to extend the strokes down a little bit to match this one. So with my machine, to turn it on, you just press it. And for the speed, I like it a little lower than this.
When you're setting up your machine, make sure that the cartridge is not going to do any backflow with the ink, which means the ink is going to go back to the motor and ruin your machine. So make sure your cartridge is perfect, and then you can look at it and see if backflow is happening, and I'll try to find a video to show you guys what that might look like. Once you make sure your ink is good and your cartridge is good, you can go ahead and start on the brow, but I do want to add this very, very important tip, and also check that your needle is centered. You can also take a piece of latex on the side and make sure that your needle is working exactly how you like it. As far as angle, I like to tilt my machine slightly, but not so much where you're going to cause ink to spread and bleed. So this does take a lot of practice, and we will go over that in a different section. So bleeding is normal, and for these strokes I am moving my machine slowly. This is a normal speed. This video is not sped up. Make sure you're not going too deep into the skin. That stroke right there was perfect. And don't freak out if the client is bleeding in, a little bit like this. I will say the area I'm working on right now is closer to the bone. So the depth there has to be a lot lighter than this skin right now where I'm working on. So in the very front of the eyebrow, it's easy to go too deep because the bone is so close to the surface. Whereas over here, the bone is a little bit higher and more pushed back toward like her temple. So you do go a little bit deeper where I'm at right now. I know the camera angle is awful, so we will be switching it in just a second. So I did get farther through the eyebrow, and I want to say this entire touch-up from whenever I loaded up my cartridge with ink and did the first stroke to the very last stroke took only about 20 minutes in real time.
Do you get any like out-of-state people?
Sometimes.
While I was touching up this eyebrow, I was making sure to focus on extending some of the strokes down lower so it matches the other eyebrow. Now the client obviously didn't notice that her right eyebrow was a little bit thicker on the bottom than the other one, but I did make sure to let her know because I don't want anyone to notice that there's anything wrong with her eyebrows. I wanted them to look perfect, so I did let her know that that is what I'm going to be focusing on. So don't be afraid to be honest with your clients, even if they don't notice any mistakes or anything wrong with the eyebrow. Make sure that you do your part and take a look because you are the expert, and fix everything that's needed. Even after 7 years of expertise, you are going to have healed results that come in, and this is called the perfecting session. So they're not supposed to be perfect. There's always something to improve on this session. You're supposed to find those things and improve them.
The small little tattoos that you're doing are so cute.
Oh, thank you. I'm doing one later, like right after you. Doing a little like rose.
It makes me kind of want to get one.
Really?
So you're going to have to feel out the face and see which angle you're supposed to be working at. So over here, to get the ink in the skin, I had to rotate my machine to this angle. Every face is so different, so it really is such a like an experiment process with every single type of skin as far as angle goes.
It's probably like how much time I spent on it, to be honest with you. And like how good some strokes were, and some like if one bled a lot, like it didn't hold as much ink as the other one that didn't bleed a lot.
Are they bleeding a lot today?
No, not at all. They're looking really good. Good.
I didn't really know what to expect, but there wasn't really any flaking.
So for the rest of this video, basically I am looking for the strokes that didn't take ink too well, and I'm finding them and I'm going over them first. I don't necessarily go over every single stroke on the touch-up session because I know some of the strokes will heal a little bit darker, and you want to just kind of like leave those alone. They're not going to fade. Also, sometimes if you go over a dark stroke, it will look like darker than everything else. So for the darker strokes, I just completely leave them alone and do all the other strokes that need a touch-up. All my strokes were done from the previous session with good retention, so as you can see, I'm not going in a certain pattern. I'm just like finding strokes that didn't take, especially here on the tail end. As you can see, there has been some fading and then going over them lightly.
Sometimes I lose clients too. If I'm really booked out, they'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Especially if they want it for like an occasion or something.
Yeah.
It's so nice just to like have them there all the time.
For real. And then I'm gonna tweeze the bottom.
Okay.
Wasn't that so quick? That was
That's
literally
it?
15 minutes. Like that. Sometimes it takes
Ooh.
me 15 minutes to like wax someone's eyebrows.
Now I just need my face to clear up and then I'll be a new person.
I know, right? They look so good in the camera. Like they look so perfect. It's unreal.
I know, the strokes are so good.
I love the shape.
Mm-hmm.
Alright guys, so she's all done. You guys look how perfect her eyebrows look. It's like so lit in here.